Fella said once, I can resist anything but temptation. We're going to talk about lust today. Not love, lust. We use King David as an example. First book of Kings. It says, Now King David was old and stricken in years, and they covered him with clothes, but he got no heat. I guess his heart was weak, pumping slow, and his body just wasn't warm itself anymore. It says, Wherefore his servant said to him, Let there be sought for my lord the king a young virgin, and let her stand before the king, and let her cherish him, and let her lie in his bosom, that my lord the king may get heat. So they sought for a fair damsel throughout all the coast of Israel, and found Abishag, a Shunammite, and brought her to the king. And the damsel was very fair, and cherished the king, and ministered to him, but the king knew her not. Okay, and I want to just stop right there for a second, and for now, till tomorrow with the reading. But anyway, King David had a problem with lust. One of the most devastating things that happened in his life was because of lust with Bathsheba. Of course, everybody knows, well, not everybody, a lot of people know that Bathsheba is the mother of King Solomon, who took over right after King David. But how they met was a tragedy. He was supposed to be fighting in a war, and he looked out over the balcony, and he saw Bathsheba taking a bath, and he sent for his servant to bring her up there. Of course, and they done her little thing, and she became pregnant. And it wasn't Solomon, of course, it was another child which died later on. The Lord took the life of the baby because of what King David had done. See, lust can cause an event of things to happen in your life. First of all, he took another man's woman, he committed adultery, and then when he couldn't get away with it, he started scheming, couldn't get away with it, so he sent for Uriah, who happened to be the husband of Bathsheba at the time, and excuse me, pardon me a second. Okay. And anyways, so he started scheming, and when the scheming didn't work, he had to take more drastic measures, and see, it's a lifestyle. God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah not because of the single sin of homosexuality, but it was all the lifestyle that surrounded that sin. Some sin are just so strong in nature that they demand all of you, and lust is one of those sins that is like that. You think, well, I just do a little bit here or a little bit there, but it will literally take your life over. It's not something that's easy to control. It's something that your natural body is drawn to, and unless you overcome it in the spirit, unless God helps you through the spirit, this thing can render you totally helpless, cause you to do some terrible, devastating things. Ted Bundy, if you remember who that is, said that what caused him to do the things that he did was hardcore pornographic magazine. It's what caused him to do the things that he did. He said from the first time he picked one up, excuse me, he said that he was hooked. From the very first picture that he saw, he was hooked. And the reason I brought King David up was because, see, it is something you can overcome. Now you might say, well, he was old and maybe he just wasn't able. But you know what? I don't think it was that. Because King David was only about 70 years old. And so he couldn't have been that old, you know. So I think it was a choice that he made, that he would rather die and stand before his God rather than to be brought back into that line of weakness again, you know, something that he had a terrible time with. And it is best, if you have trouble with something like that, just stay totally away from it. Alcoholic should never occasionally drink. There's no such thing as an alcoholic occasionally drinking. You take one drink and you're back on the wagon, or you're back off the wagon, whichever the way they say it. All right, God bless. Thanks for joining me. See you again next time. Another great message right here on Crossing the Middle Ministry.